I mean, you just got to decide how much you really need to know.
We don't have to pay another one.
Yeah. But I could keep on doing this, but I'm going to stop just so I can show another step of it. Now, if I were wanting it to pop, I need to get a balance. No.
Shadow.
Shadow. Thank you. Shadow. Yeah. So you have to be kind of bold about that. You can't.
Yeah. You can't do it twice, can you?
Well, I shouldn't have got that splotch in the middle, but it's kind of amazing how forgiving it can be. One thing to know, if your piece of paper is sitting on top of another piece of paper, that's going to be closer than this bit behind it. And because that's stuck into the wall there, it's lifting up at the bottom there. So we're going to just pretend. Okay, it seems excessive, but just work with me. Once you got enough of them, it makes sense. It's almost a little too dark, but oh well. And when you paint the negative shape around the positive object, you start painting the object, right? Now, this one is closer, so it has to take a cut. And it goes almost to nothing there, because that's lifting up. Now, if there's too much here, which it might be, I think I might just lift a little. Oh, too much. Let's bring that over. Okay. One of them looks nuts. Two of them, you start thinking it might work. Pretty soon, you could tell exactly one that isn't done. Over here, I've got the fortune cookie bits. There's the feather, and I can look at all my pictures of my journals and put them in if I wanted them. The thing of it is, I don't like working from photographs. A photograph, if it was that nice, you could frame it, enlarge it, put it up on the wall. So I'm really not into reproducing a photograph. To me, there's way more than that.
I am surprised that you use the same color going over the paper and then the same color going over the sand.
Say it again? Oh yeah, I've been you just did more of it.
Well, I thought the value, no, the color would change as a shadow on the sand, and it would be, the shadow on the paper would be a different color.
Well, there's a lot of red, I think, at this point.
Okay.
I think there's quite a bit of red in here that I didn't see in the other one. Red and blue, actually. And depending on the angle, did I answer you right, Frank?
Well, you've got two different surfaces. I don't see the color of the sand coming through the shadow,
Well,
but I see the color of the paper coming through the line on the paper.
You'll see it more as it dries.
Pardon?
You will see it more as it dries.
Well, yeah, I've just asked the question. You don't worry about that. That's,
no, I'm not too worried about
yeah,
it.
okay, good.
Now, when you see this angle, you can see it's just about an inch, 2 inches. That's all I'm getting down.
When you put a tape mark on top of the rectangle,
Which one? That one?
no, that one right there.
Oh, that one?
Yeah, see there's a tape on top of that picture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you really lay a piece of tape on it?
No.
On the paper before you paint, or you just
No,
paint
I just
around
draw it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because, boy, you do such a good job, you'd think that you had a piece of tape on there and then you pull the tape off and you got a
Well, it's
leftover image.
kind of funny. I think what's those Bible that they found,
Scrolls.
the scrolls, and they glued them all together with sticky tape, and now they're trying to get rid of the sticky tape. It's horrible stuff, sticky tape. Now this is different because this one's in a frame. So it's going to be absolutely straight and it's going to be higher, and so it'll come across. And you have to kind of get used to looking at how these shadows work. I've got holes in my living room wall that I play with just to hook things up. So, now, do you see how it's just giving a little bit of... So, now there can be no light here, no shadow here, the light's coming from that way, it's going up that way.
Right.
And sometimes those, they get a little wobble in the page. They don't have to be as straight. I tend to find that I darken up. It seems light to me. I should maybe go a little darker because at the end of the painting you really do want it darker. So I got them all there. These guys need a shadow. The minute you get an angle, it changes the shadow. That's maybe why I like the straight up and downs. This one here, this complicates those shadows. And it's not on a flat area. This one's nice and flat.
Right, yeah.
This one's got stones.
Yeah.
It makes it way more complicated. So if the light was coming here and this was closer, that would be small. That's further away. That would be bigger. That would be closer, and that would be further away. I mean, it suddenly becomes a lot more complicated. And so you can see that would be closer, and then it'd be bigger jump. So I think we'll just stick with this one tonight. Like it easier, okay? Now we've got the big ones popping out. These guys throw a shadow too. So there's going to be a little bit of a shadow.
Go it down a little bit towards you. Yeah, okay.
Okay, that's going to get a little shadow. That's going to get a little shadow.
Yeah, look at the dimension.
Okay, so I'm not even exactly sure what I'm going to put in here, but it's really fun to have something bright and colorful. So when you're going to set that on. I should have used a smaller brush. That would have been good.
Those tacks.
Tacks, yeah. And the painting is different because it's hung from behind, see? And then I like to change it up sometimes and do a different color tag, just for the heck of it. Now, when you think about the painting we're going to do on here, what are we going to do? To me, just choosing stuff is not... Those are going to get shadows too, depending on... So I make a list here, and for what I remember about our trip, trees, trout, woodpile, Rogers Gate, the long driveway, mud, nest, leaves, maple leaf, trees, stove, all the things that I might want to include. Best I could come up with my painting was to bring a bag. I found an egg. This is not from Missouri. I got this from farmer's market, but I thought I could make it look like you could put a nest there. I could have a feather. I tend to like to make the feathers about the same height, so that's going to be there. I've got some acorns in here. I've got some leaves. I got a thread that's going to tie this guy up to here. They can't just hang. So you can see I'm beginning to pull my stuff together. But I don't want to be as uptight as this all the time either, okay? So now, is the painting, this one's going to have a little wooden edge. So I should put that, and I want to keep it quite light because the next time around I'll put on wood grain. So that's gonna. Maybe a little more green sienna than that. It's going off the edge of the page. I like that because it lets you get those thrift store frames for $15. So that's going to have it all the way around. But some of them are going to have a frame in the middle. Let's see. I want to keep a white edge. And the paint never runs into the white.
That's what I wanted to ask you. I thought possibly you lay tape down to make that edge, and then you paint the picture and then pull the tape off, and you have a white edge.
That does, and I'll tell you, I'm glad you brought that up because I don't ever use rulers or
Yeah, right.
things because it implies that you're not going to screw up.
Yeah.
And if you make a mistake and the line's not perfect, it's kind of wonderful. But if you draw a line with a ruler and a tape, it means you're going to be perfect. And that doesn't happen much. So, okay, so that whole, I can't see much here. It's a different angle. I'll pretend they start clouds or something. And some of that red is running out because it didn't dry in time, but that's fine because I like a variety of color by the time I get the shadow, and it's not a big deal. So to keep that edge is kind of nice. That's the one thing I'm not crazy about, phthalo. It's really over the top.
Got Mickey Mouse there.
You see
Yeah,
Mickey? Okay, she's gone. Okay, so along here some, you'll notice that I don't have any green in my palette because I have yet to find a green that is a nice color. So I have to mix it. You'll notice when you paint skies, it's usually more intense at the top and more. That's a color, isn't it? Now when I do a painting like this is not what I'm thrilled with. It's just a color to get something on the page. I'm going to go back later and I'll put the kayak or whatever. Or I also like, you'll notice that I tend not to hook it down so that way I can. And you know that Mickey Mouse that we lost?
It's gone.
If we need to get it back, we can.
Oh, brutal.
So that is my little flame, and I'm not finished. I'll go back with it when it's drier. But that I am loose, okay?
Yeah.
I can be loose, like anybody. Now I'm going to show you that I can do botanicals if I want to. And I don't have to I could try and reinvent that thing, but why? I mean, it's perfect. Just sit still, got one, don't move, you'll be fine. You know?
Are you going to get the curl in there?
Sometimes they get a curl, sometimes not so much. So we got a leaf right there. And this one, I don't like tidy leaves, okay? Like that does nothing for me. I like the green. So I'll throw that in. And the funny thing is, I've done so many feathers, I can't just pretend. I've got to actually look at one. So that's going to be a feather there. And here, I'm going to do a nest. And for those who've seen me paint, I've got time to do a quick nest. Okay. So it's got to be big enough for the bird. And the lights for this nest, the lights coming here, it's light, dark, light, dark. So.
This is cold pressed paper,
No, it's arches and
arches, yeah.
to be
Hot press?
just the right hot
Yeah.
hot press.
Hot
yes,
press, okay.
Yes, yeah. Sorry. I do sometimes go with that 200 pound. I can't remember what their name is either.
Imagine a hot press is good for this because cold press, you've got a lot of texture that you deal with.
I think this is. God, Frank, I can't remember anymore. I used to know this. It's not the smooth one. It's the other one. I think this is hot press. No, cold press.
Cold press.
That's cold press, yeah.
So I make the nests really funky to begin with, okay? Because they start nice and they get. When it dries, I'll go back in and out. This isn't looking wonderful yet. I should have started before, I suppose. Huh? But you kind of get where I'm going with this. And at the end, it'll have a lovely texture. I'll have my little fortune cookies that tell me how wonderful my family is and how my life is so great. And I'll have the things that I've picked up on a sandy background of places that I've been to that are important in my life. And it's sometimes hard to think of even selling your stuff, because why do you want a picture of me when I was a 4-year-old? But it's not about that. I did it because it's about me telling. My daughter's very adamant